Today I want to talk about left hand stretches on the guitar, specifically the classical guitar, but other guitars as well. And this is a topic that I get asked about a lot, both online and in my weekly in-person lessons that I teach. So we're going to talk about three main things today. We're going to talk about, first thing, these vertical stretches across the strings like this. And then we're going to talk about horizontal stretches, so that's expanding beyond the 4-fret range. And then we're going to talk about some integration of exercises into your daily routine. This video, it's mainly for beginners to intermediate players. Once you get to advanced repertoire, that's kind of a different story, and it really is such a combination of a variety of polishing off of your different techniques that you use that we're not going to really dive into that. So we're talking about just like basic stretches, mostly stuff that would be written by classical guitar composers. And a lot of the stuff, for example, like Schorre and Giuliani and whatnot, they're written by guitarists. And so most of it is pretty ergonomic and possible for everyone. The other thing you'll notice is like I've got very small hands, short fingers, so I can do all these stretches and you can too, but it's a combination of your technique and relaxation. So we'll be talking about that as we go. First thing, vertical stretches. So that's across the strings like this. Now, a couple of things. The first thing I'll say is that the curvature of your fingers is the most important thing. If my hand is out like this and this finger's outstretched, I can't reach that bottom string. Can you see that? I can't reach it, even if I extend my finger completely. Now watch this. I'm going to take this knuckle here, bring it in really close. You can see this is causing lots of curvature in my finger. So I'm really bringing that in, and then this can reach that bottom string and still have curvature in each knuckle. So again, if my hand position is like this, and I'm outstretched already a little bit, I can't even reach it at all. If I bring this knuckle in close to the fretboard, forcing curvature in my finger, then it's no problem. I could reach beyond it if I wanted. So that's a really important fact. So first thing, that first rule is to bring the knuckle or the palm in close to the fingerboard, forcing curvature of the fingers. Now the second thing is like, watch, if I lower my guitar to a bad position, it's also hard to reach because everything is just like a little bit out of alignment. So it's like it feels strained, not just in my hand, but all through my arm back here. So making sure your guitar is up high enough will enable you to just bring your hand up, place that, and reach down to that. But the biggest thing there is still the position of that knuckle. And I guess another thing to mention is that misalignment of the hand in general. So having the fingers like this, I can't reach anything. You need to swing your hand around, make sure your knuckles are parallel with the strings of the guitar, bring that palm in, and that stretches no problem at all. So I hope you keep those things in mind. Let's move on to horizontal stretches. So a horizontal stretch might be something like you have the 4-finger position, which should be comfortable for you for the most part. But we're talking about going beyond that, so going to the 5th fret while having the 1st fret down, or even the 6th fret, going quite beyond what the normal stance of the hand is. So again, if my guitar position's bad, I can't reach past the 4th fret. Like you can see I can kind of reach the beginning of the 5th fret, but it buzzes, right? Now watch, I just bring this up, I can reach the 5th fret, I can even reach the 6th fret. And that's it's partly a relaxation issue, is that when it's down like this, all these tendons are all stretched out and my wrist is bent all like this. You can't have that. It doesn't work, and I can't even get past the 4th fret when I'm like this. Bring up the guitar. Whoa, 5th fret, 6th fret, no problem. So you'll notice a lot of modern players play with their guitar pretty up high, like the footstool really raised, or they're using ergo plays or guitar supports that really raise the guitar up so that when they bring their hand up, the wrist is nice and straight here, and they can reach all those frets. Same thing, even if your guitar is high, but it's like in a bad position like this, look, I can barely reach the 4th fret. I can barely get past the 3rd fret. That's the 4th fret. Correct the position. 4th fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, no problem. So that steeper angle is just so important for your horizontal stretches as well. And of course that goes for all these stretches that are across the strings from the bass voice to the upper voice. Anything like this, down low or bad position, I can't get past the 3rd fret sometimes, let alone the 4th. No problem when it's like that. I can almost reach the 7th fret on the 6th string. As long as my wrist is nice and straight and I'm relaxed, and just fan out my fingers. Now, we'll talk about daily exercise routines and resources in 1 second, but I mentioned something, and it's called relaxation, and it's always a kind of a mystery to students what relaxation is. One really great term I heard for this is by Charles Duncan in his book, The Art of Classical Guitar, where he mentions the word functional tension. And because a certain amount of tension, of course, is needed to play the instrument, but the classical guitar is, these strings are very easy to push down. So a functional tension is one where our muscles are not strained and we're in good hand positions, so we can reach everything quite easily. And we can also maximize on our power ratios, like when our fingers curved compared to outstretched. And a dysfunctional tension would be the opposite, right? Bad positions, and you're pushing really hard, so your muscles are all strained, so you don't want that. But I think it all stems from your guitar position mainly. And then playing on your fingertips close to the frets, you don't have to push very hard at all. And I have other videos on the website that talk about tension issues, but and playing lightly with the left hand. So you can look at those videos separately. But the main thing is like using all your good technique and having a good power ratio, being accurate, will allow you to play with lots of relaxation, and then therefore increase your stretches as well. Now, the other question is that lots of the website viewers email me saying, are there exercises to increase my stretch? And the answer is yes, but be careful. Our muscles don't just increase length, right? I mean, they do maybe a little bit over time, but it's very minimal. It's like a very long-term process. It's like if you go to physio, a lot of the programs there just for stretching, it's just you have to give it 6 weeks even to just begin to start feeling like you have some increased flexibility. So these exercises will help, but it's a very long-term thing, and you want to take it very slowly and be very patient. And the other thing I'll say is that you don't have to do crazy stretch exercises to do the basic guitar repertoire. Like the intermediate to late intermediate repertoire does not require crazy stretches. It requires a good guitar position and good accurate hand positions and playing. And with that, you can usually get all the stretches that you need to get. That said, there's exercises. I mean, you all know a lot of them from other books, like Pumping Nylon, like O'Dare's drill, which goes across the strings, slowly increasing the stretch one string at a time. My technique book, there's a link for it underneath the video, has a whole bunch of stretch exercises that increase the span between each finger. So you have some dedicated look at the stretch between each individual finger group. I also have a number of stretch exercises. I also have fixed finger exercises where you're really kind of trying to work out the stretch while also having your other fingers down on the fretboard, so it's in the context of playing. These are great exercises, and yes, integrate them into your daily routine, but just take it easy and don't have any goals of stretching your fingers. Just have the goal of doing the exercises in a relaxed way, and over time, you'll get a little bit of you might even notice some stretch marks in your hands, and your hand can kind of physically open up, but it's minimal and it's long term, and you have to be careful. Whoops. And you have to be careful, and you have to not push it, because if you push it, you get injured, and then you can't play. If you're really having problems with any of this, you should go talk to a physiotherapist or a doctor, Because if you can't reach the basic things, then you might actually have like an injury or something, some kind of issue with your hand that you should look into. But the majority, like I've never had a student that I haven't been able to like get them going on the basic stretches. Never. It's a long-term process though. They sometimes take lessons for a few years, and then by the end of that, they're doing all the basic stretches that they need to do. So long-term solutions. I've listed my technique book underneath the video. There's a link for it, so you can pick up that. There's a whole bunch of stretch exercises in there, as well as hundreds of other exercises that you can check out. But also go to the lesson page on This is Classical Guitar and check out the guitar position post, the left hand position post, and like some of the other posts on relaxation or reducing tension in the left hand. All of those posts will come together to equal better stretching and better ability to reach these stretches. And to tell you the truth, most stretches in the classical guitar repertoire are not stretches at all. They just require good technique.